The Greenspan and Handel Family Foundation established an endowed chair of Holocaust and genocide studies at Dutchess Community College, and as part of that chair, I started to expand the offerings in that field, and I revived the Holocaust class, the in-class course. I developed a new course, a seminar on the Holocaust and genocide in the 20th century, and then the abroad class essentially rounded out that offering.
Well, before going on the trip, I had a general knowledge like every other kid who goes through high school and about what had happened. And I knew a lot of numbers and statistics that you learn in class. But going to Europe and learning about it there was a completely different experience. It has a whole new personal meaning because you walked in the steps of these people who suffered so awfully, and you just learn it completely differently, and it takes on a whole new meaning.
The subject of the Holocaust really lends itself to being taught at the sites where it happened, at memorial sites, at museums, more so than any other topic in history, I believe, because the Holocaust more or less is present in Europe in a variety of ways that it is not in the United States. It's a period of history that is taught in the classroom, like the American Revolution or anything else. But in Europe, it is actually present through the memorials, through the museums, through street names, through plaques on buildings, etc. And students get immersed into that kind of context.
My name is Jean Malkisher. I'm a Holocaust survivor. Students who have a chance to go on a trip and see the places where all these atrocities took place have a terrific advantage of seeing it in person, because reading it in a history book is not the same thing than being there and experience some of that. It's important. The new generation can look at it differently, and they should not feel that they are being blamed, because they really did not had anything to do with it, and they just want to make sure that they have a chance to find out in person what has happened.
We went to 4 cities in Europe. Each city had something specific that, was of interest to the students and myself. In Berlin, I was very interested in seeing the Wannsee House, which is where the Wannsee Conference took place. And as you probably know, in 90 minutes, over cognac and fine cigars, the fate of the Jewish people, 6 million of them, took place. That was in Berlin. Also, Prague was lovely. We went to many memorials, Jewish museums, each one with more information, that just was wonderful, added to what Dr. Steger had taught us and continued to tell us during the trip. And of course, the final stop in Poland, going to Auschwitz. That was life-changing, that experience.
The systematic killing of Jews, of the European Jews, was in a way an incident that was unprecedented in European history, and it really shows students what a policy of institutionalized racism does when it is carried to its internally logic end. When we talk about a certain segment of the population and tell them, you shall not work with us, you shall not go to school with our children, and then we move from there to you shall not live with us, and then we move from there, you shall not live at all.
He was at home, therefore, while my sister and I were still in school, when the police came to pick up my father. When I came home that day, he was gone. However, the policeman had asked for a man who had lived in another apartment in the building but had died, but did not take the husband of the couple who lived with us. I learned that the synagogue we attended had been burned down. From those confused and frightening events of 70 years ago, several stand out. A few days after November 9th, the principal of the school I attended came into the classroom and read aloud a new government decree banning Jewish children from all public schools. Another boy and I got up, collected our things, and left the room and building. This was such a traumatic experience that I blocked it out of my memory until 2001.
In 1938, Austria was annexed by Germany. Hitler marched into Austria, and when my parents found out that Germany will invade Austria, they realized that it would be very bad for Jews to live there, and they decided to just pack a suitcase quickly and leave Austria and make believe that we are going on a vacation to Switzerland. We took the train to Switzerland, but when we arrived at the border in Switzerland, they didn't let us in. We were turned back. The border was closed for us. So we had no choice but take the train back to Vienna. This is where I was born. And on the way back, that time I was 7.5 years old. I didn't really know what was going on, but my mother said to my sister and to me, "Psh, don't tell anybody you are Jewish, because that's not good to let them know. Just make believe that you are asleep and be very quiet."
The ideal is to really expand the course to a degree where I can include European students. In other words, I can include students from the Czech Republic. I have made contacts with the university there. Include students from Poland. I have made contacts with the university in Krakow. That, however, would require, funding, major funding. That would be, an international course on the Holocaust, in which students would get credit at 3 different international institutions.
You can read it in books. I don't remember much from school when I was a student, even in college here at Dutchess. We need to hear it from the people who were there. The same with the veterans who are dying in huge numbers. If you can hear it from the people who were there, the Jean Malkishers, the people that experienced this, that's the best teacher. Just that first-hand experience, I can't put a value on that. And we're going to lose that. We're going to lose that in time. So, and as far as going, there's nothing like being there to see it.